Hello friends, how are you? I hope you all are doing good. So let's continue with our discussion on standard costing, one of the most important chapters. So before we start, subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon so that you get all the notifications, and follow us on Twitter, Telegram. All the links are given in the video description. Do check it out and follow us there also. Okay, so what we have been discussing about, direct material variances. Right, we were discussing about direct material variances. Right, in this we have discussed three variances basically. The one was direct material cost variance, right, that is standard cost minus actual cost. Standard cost means standard quantity multiplied by standard price, and standard quantity means standard quantity for actual output. After that, direct material price variance, that is standard price minus actual price multiplied by actual quantity. Then we discussed about direct material quantity variance, right? Quantity variance was standard quantity minus actual quantity. Standard quantity minus actual quantity multiplied by standard price. So this is what we have already discussed, and we have done some practical problems also on this. Right, so this is the base. Now in this lecture what we are going to do is we are going to do two further variances in the direct material variance only, right, and that two variances are related to direct material quantity variance. Let's discuss about it. We say when we talk about direct material quantity variance, right, we say that there is a variance due to difference in the quantity consumption, right, that the actual quantity consumption is different from the standards what we have planned for. Quantity consumption means raw material quantity consumption, right? Okay, so in this case what we say is that the actual quantity consumption may vary from the standards. Now, what are the reasons because of which there is a variation? There are two basic reasons for which there can be variation, right? One is the inappropriate mix used. The second is, don't worry, I'll explain what this all is. Inadequate yield or inadequate productivity of inputs. Right, now what is inappropriate mix used? That means, say you are making a particular product in which two or more raw materials are used, right? For making a product, if you are using two raw materials or two or more raw materials, always there will be some proportion in which it is to be used. For example, say you want to make a chapati, right? Now in that you will be using the flour also, you will be using the water also while making the dough, right? So you need to make the right proportions of how much quantity of the flour is used and how much quantity of the water is required for making that dough, isn't it? Now if there is an inadequate mix, if the water is more, your dough will not be good. If the flour is more, water is less, then also your dough will not be good, isn't it? So while making a product, if two or more raw materials are being used, in which proportion they are being used, I planned for that they will be used in the proportion of 2:3, whereas actually it has been done in the proportion of 3:4. Obviously there will be a variance, right, in the quantity consumption. The second thing says inadequate yield. Yield means here output. Yield means output. Again, it says inadequate output or the inadequate productivity of the inputs, that whatever the inputs we are using, they are not giving whatever the output was required. Right? There is a variance. Whatever the inputs, either we are using the substandard quantity of the inputs, substandard quality of the inputs, which are not giving us the adequate yield. If we are not getting the adequate yield, obviously our consumption of the raw material will also suffer. Right? If we planned for 100 units but we are getting only 80 units, obviously there will be a variance in the consumption of raw material also. If you are getting an output of 80 units instead of 100 what you planned for, you will obviously get a variance in the consumption of the raw material also. Right? So these are the two. Now the two variances related to this, we have two variances related to this. The one is direct material mix variance. Direct material mix variance. Right? Now this one is direct material yield variance. Direct material yield variance. Right? So these are the two variances, and we say that these two variances are the reason for the change in the quantity consumption, the difference in the quantity consumption from actuals and standards. Okay. But these two variances will happen. These two variances will result only if two or more raw materials are being used together in manufacturing. Right? So this will happen only when two or more raw materials are used together in manufacturing. Okay. So we are going to study about these two variances, that is the direct material mix variance and the direct material yield variance. Right? The reasons I have given you, that this is because of the change in the quantity consumption. Quantity consumption is changed due to this, either the inappropriate mix being used or due to the inadequate yield or the inadequate productivity of the inputs. Right? Inputs were not good, substandard quality was used. Because of what? Because of that, what happened? You planned for 100 units of output, but you could only get 80 units of output. If you are getting 80 units of output instead of 100 units, obviously your quantity consumption of the raw material will vary from the standards. You have set the standards of the 100 units, but you have got only 80 units, so actual consumption will be different. Right? So in that case, it is dependent upon the output. So now the first one that we are going to discuss is direct material yield variance. Direct material yield variance is what we are going to discuss. Right? Okay, so the yield here means, the yield, when we talk about yield, it means the output. Let's take an example now. Listen to this example very carefully, because from this example only I am going to derive the things, that how this yield variance is being used. Okay. Say we want to make a snack. Using potatoes and flour. Right? You want to make a snack using potatoes and flour. Now, for 1 unit of snack, I have some data for 1 unit of snack. For 1 unit of snack. Now, in the manufacturing of one finished product, this is your finished product, you are using 2 or more raw materials. One raw material is potato, another raw material is your flour. Right? So what happens, sir? Standard quantity for actual output, standard price, standard cost, actual quantity, actual price, and actual cost, right? I'll stop here. This is what we have studied so far. So what I say, I have two products now, right? I have two products. One is potato and the other one is flour. Now, I am a person who is very experienced at making this snack. I have a huge shop in that I make a snack. I have been into this business for the last 20 years, say, right? And I am an expert at making this snack. And according to my estimates, according to my standards, that if I want to make 1 unit of a snack, I need to use 80 grams of potato and I need to use 20 grams of flour. So this is what I'm talking about, grams, right? I say I am an expert at making this snack, right? I have a shop, 20 years old snack, 20 years old shop. I have been making this snack for the last 20 years. I'm an expert. So according to my standards, I say that if you want to make a tasty snack, if you want to make a perfect snack which people like, you need to use 80 grams of potato and 20 grams of flour. That is total 100 grams of raw material should be used, right, in making the snack. The standard price, say, is 0.01 and 0.02. Now this is just example, okay? So standard cost is 0.8 and 0.4, right? 1.2. Now what happened? Sir, I am the boss, right? I am the boss of the shop. Now I am not making the snack. I have my workers, right, under me who are making the snack. So I called one of the worker and told him that today you will make this snack. Do you know it? The worker says, yes, sir, I know it, how to make this snack. I said, okay, go ahead, make the snack. I want to see that how well you are able to make that snack, right? So I called my worker and told him that you need to make the snack. The worker says, okay. After some time, the worker comes back with a snack, right? So I asked him that how much of the raw material you have used, how much of potatoes and how much of flour you have used. He told me, sir, I used 70 grams of potato and 10 grams of flour. That is total 80 grams of the raw material I have actually used in making this snack, right? So the actual price is 0.01, 0.02, right? This is 0.7 and this is 0.2, not relevant. Now the point here is, the focus here is on this thing and on this thing, right? Listen to it very carefully. What I am saying is that my standards were that for making 1 unit of a good snack, 100 grams of the raw material should be used. Whereas my worker says, now he made a snack. He says that, sir, I used 70 grams and 10 grams of 70 grams of potato and 10 grams of flour. I used 80 grams. Now my ego was hurt. I am the boss. How can I be wrong? How can my standards be wrong? How can he say that he can make a good snack in 80 grams? Not possible, right? Not possible. But at the same time, my heart was not ready to accept, but my mind was happy. Why? Because my mind was giving me the feedback that if this snack can be made in 80 grams, it is good. My cost will be saved. I will have a greater profit. Instead of using 100 grams, if I can make the same taste of the snack in the 80 grams, obviously my quantity consumption will be less. If my quantity consumption will be less, my raw material cost will be less. Isn't it? But because of my ego, my heart was not ready to accept this thing, that how can he make a good snack with this proportion and with this much of the grams. So at last, my mind and my heart reconciled with each other, right? And the reconciliation says, okay, I accepted, I tasted the snack and I found it to be pretty okay. Not the perfect one as I thought, I found it to be pretty okay. So I realized that it is fine. This snack can be made in 80 grams. That is no issues, right? This snack can be made in 80 grams instead of this 100 grams. I accept it. Right, keeping my ego aside, I decided that I should accept it, that this snack can be made in 80 grams also. But the one aspect that I am not ready to accept is that the proportion, I recommended the proportion of 8:2, whereas he used the proportion of 7:1. So I told him, do one thing, in this 80 grams only, apply the proportion of the standards which I have set, right? That means this 80 grams should be used in the proportion of 8:2. To make it a perfect snack, to make it a snack which the customers like, right? Because the customers are the ultimate god. So I say that to make it a perfect snack, you do one thing, use 80 grams, no issues in that. But the proportion that you should use for 80 grams is the standard proportion for actual quantity that I have set, right? Total consumption, you will take the actual, but it has to be divided in the proportion in which I have set, right? Not the one which you are using. Clear? So, to do this part, to do this thing, we calculate another variable that is known as revised standard quantity, RSQ, right? This is known as revised standard quantity, right? This is known as revised standard quantity. Now, in the revised standard quantity, what we have to do is we have to take the actual consumption, total actual consumption, that is 80 grams, but it is to be divided between potatoes and flour in the ratio of standard quantity for actual output, that is 8:2, right? So the revised standard quantity is 64:16, total 80 grams, right? Actual quantity will be distributed in the ratio of standard quantity for actual output. So if we talk about RSQ, that is revised standard quantity, it is that actual quantity, total actual quantity, total actual quantity will be distributed, total actual quantity will be distributed in the ratio of standard quantity for actual output, right? So I hope it is clear that what I am planning to do, right? So first I have set the standards for the actual quantity, standard price, standard cost, no role in this, right? Then I told my worker, he used the actual quantity in a different proportion and the less actual quantity they have used. Now this can be applied only if there is a mixture. Mixture means 2 or more raw materials are being used in the manufacturing process. Now coming to the variance, how this variance will be calculated. Now the important point here is how this variance will be calculated. We say direct material yield variance. Now the yield variance says that what was your planning, what was your thought process, initial thought process, that was my standard quantity for actual output. This was the initial planning, right? But later on you have to revise your planning. Then what is your revised planning? So it is all dependent upon your planning, right? Minus the revised standard quantity multiplied by standard price. No role of actual price, no role of actual cost. What we are planning to do is yield. Yield means the difference in the quantity. Because of that, there will be difference in the quantity consumption, right? So we say that for making 1 unit, what was your actual planning? Actual planning was that we will use potatoes 80 grams, right? Potatoes, we say we will use 80 grams, but ultimately we revised it to 64 grams, right? So there is a quantity variance multiplied by 0.01, that will be 0.16 favorable. Similarly, for flour, initial planning was to use 20 grams, but whereas we revised our planning based on the actual quantity, that is 16, I guess. How much of flour? 12 minus 16, right? Multiplied by 0.02. So 20 minus 16 multiplied by 0.02, that comes to 0.08. Again favorable, right? Plus 0.16. So total is 0.24 favorable. Clear? So this direct material yield variance plays with your thought process only, plays with your planning only, right? What you initially planned for, what is your revised planning as per the actual quantity consumption, right? So initial planning always first initial planning, then revised planning multiplied by the standard price. It is the difference between the standard quantity for actual production and actual quantity in standard proportion at standard price. Right? So if we talk about this, we can say it is the difference between standard quantity for actual production and actual quantity in standard proportion at standard price. Right? So this is the cut short of this direct material yield variance. I hope this is clear. Direct material yield variance is clear. Right? Now, interesting part is, sir, there is an alternative formula for this also. There is an alternative formula for yield variance which is not given in any book, right? It might be given in some books, but if we talk about the ICI study mat, it is not there. I think it is not there in the CMA module also, right? In most of the books you will find this formula only, that is standard quantity for actual output minus revised standard quantity multiplied by standard price. Now you will say, sir, we are talking about the yield variance and yield says it is an output, but we haven't used output anywhere, right? We haven't used the output anywhere. So there is an alternative formula also where we are going to use the output. I'm going to tell you that formula also. Listen to it very carefully, right? Try to understand it. Alternate formula, alternate approach or alternate formula to yield variance. Formula for yield variance. This is not there in the books. Right? This formula is not there in the books also. Right? This is absolutely correct. From examination point of view, this will help. Okay? There is no issues, but you should know this for the knowledge purpose. Right? You must know this. Now, I say in the above example only, I will add something. I say in the above example, what I have taken is for 1 unit of snack. Right? Now, what I am saying is the actual output say is 100 units. Right? Now listen to it very carefully. Sir, I say that as per standards, what is the plan? I say that for 1 unit of FG, for 1 unit of finished good, how much grams of the raw material is required? 100 grams as per the standards, as per my initial approach, right? Initial thought, as per my initial planning. Right? My initial planning says if I want to make 1 unit of finished good, I need to use 100 grams of raw material. Right? So if I am going to make 100 units of finished goods, 100 units of FG, that is the actual output, how many grams will be required? 100 divided by 1 multiplied by 100, that will be 10,000 grams. This is as per the standards. Now, let's see what actually happened. We are not talking about the revised one. We are talking about the standards and the actuals. Right? Now, as per actual, what actually happened? Sir, for actual, for in making 1 unit of finished good, how much grams of the raw material had been used? 80 grams. So if you want to make 100 units, of the FG, how many grams will be used? 80 by 1 multiplied by 100, that is 8,000 grams. Any doubts in this thing? Simply, whatever the data is there, I am just using that only. I say as per the standards, that is the initial planning, I say in making 1 unit of the finished product, this 100 grams of raw material is required. So if I want to make 100 units of the finished product, how many grams of the raw material will be required? That is 10,000 grams. But what actually happened? As per the actuals, for making 1 unit, how much grams were used? 80 grams were used, right? So if I want to make 100 units, how many grams have been consumed? 8,000 grams have been consumed. Now listen to it very carefully. Now what I say that if I apply this 8,000 gram, right? If I apply this to my initial planning, right? If this 8,000 gram, that is the actual consumption, that is the actual total consumption. If I apply this 8,000 gram to my initial planning, then how many units of the finished product I would have got, right? Now applying 8,000 grams to the initial planning, what I say, applying 8,000 grams, that is the actual consumption, right? This is my actual consumption to my initial planning. According to this, how many units of finished product I would have got? How many units of finished product I would have got, right, from 8,000 grams, right? Say 100 grams are being used in manufacturing 1 unit, right? So if I'm using 8,000 grams, that is the actual consumption being applied to the standards, right? So if I would have applied 8,000 grams, I would have got how many units? 1 divided by 100 multiplied by 8,000, that is 80 units I would have got, right? I would have received 80 units, whereas out of 8,000 grams, my actuals is 100 units. Now what I'm trying to say is that out of 8,000 grams, now I'll divide this 8,000 grams, right? For this 8,000 grams, what is my standards? My standards is 80 units. I just calculated, and my actuals is 100 units, right? If I apply the actual quantity consumption, that is 8,000 gram, what would have been the standards for those 8,000 grams? Standards of the output. What is the actual output? 100 grams, right? Now this 80 units, or the 80 units, this is known as standard output. This is known as standard output for actual mix. Standard output for actual mix. That means whatever was the actual quantity used, that is 8,000 gram, this was the actual mix. If I apply this mix to the standards, then I would have got 80 units, whereas actually I have got 100 units. So we are going to derive the formula from here only, right? So in this case, my direct material yield variance will be actual output minus standard output for actual mix multiplied by standard cost per unit of actual output. Now here we are talking about the output, and see here what I have taken. The actual output I have taken first, then the standard output. Why? I told you at the very beginning of the material variances that on the first hand, we'll see it from the beneficial point of view. What is benefit? In the case of cost, standard cost should be higher and the actual cost should be less, only then there will be a benefit. In case of output, the actual output should be more than the standard output, then it will be a beneficial part, right? Now see, here it is the benefit. In 8,000 grams, we planned for 80 units, but actually we received 100 units, so it is a benefit to us. right? So whichever parameter gives us the benefit, we have to keep that parameter first and the second parameter at the back. So in this case, let's see the calculation now. What is actual output? 100 minus 80. Now what is standard cost per unit of actual output? What is your total standard cost? Your total standard cost in this case from the table is 1.2, right? So here we say standard cost 1.2 divided by per unit of actual output. What is actual output? 100, right? So this will give you 20 multiplied by 0.012. So this will be 0.24 favorable. Is the answer matching? Sir, 0.24 favorable, 0.24 favorable. So this is an alternative approach of following the yield variance, right? The output approach of using the yield variance. This is another way of doing it. Clear? I hope you are able to understand. Even if you are not able to understand, nothing to worry about it. Listen to it 2 or 3 times. Even then, if you are not able to understand, then leave it. Then leave it from examination point of view, no issues. Because in the examination, this formula will do for you, right? But for the knowledge, I have told you this alternative approach also for calculating the yield variance, which is very, very, very important. Now, in the next lecture, we are going to discuss about the mix variance. We are going to solve a practical part and we are going to complete the material variances. After that, labor variance, variable overhead variance, very simple. Very simple. If you are able to understand the material variances, then the next 2 variances are very, very, very simple, straightforward, right? So revise it properly, make it a habit that you have to revise whatever you do in one lecture, you have to revise it at the same time the next day. Just give 10 to 15 minutes, right? That this habit is definitely going to help you a lot. Okay, so see you guys in the next lecture. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, keep sharing, keep studying. Thank you so much.